Peace, family. What's good? It's your brother Brian Nee Boy Doku, also known as Melanin Rich. And trust me, family, I'm feeling better than I look, and I'm looking hella good all up in this.
Ashe,
the Uplifted Being Show. We back, baby.
Oh, yeah.
And I got my brother with me across the pond. Actually, he's across the imaginary border. Sometimes things get out of order. But it would be a pity if he wasn't hailing from the
Brick City! Oh, man, my brother. Oh, man, we give love. I give thanks to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? So, family, welcome to the Uplifted Being Show. I'll be your brother Dwayne from the Divine Mother, because, ooh, she is fine. Welcome to the Uplifted Being Show, family. Make sure you go to upliftedbeing.com and hit those archives and listen to that dopeness that we bring, family. You know what I'm saying? We got that dope fire in the archive.
Fire!
And if this is your first time checking us out and joining us, the Uplifted Being Show is all about reminding you and not teaching you, right? Because only teaching thing that can happen is experience. Experience is the best teacher. However, we are reminding you of the greatness and of the powerful creator that each and every one of us is. Yes, I said it, and we said it, you heard it here. You are a powerful creator. And we are just here to remind you of your greatness and your powerful creating techniques, tips, tricks, all that good jazz. So make sure you go to upliftedbeing.com and dig in them archives.
So before we kick this one off, I'd like to give a big, huge shout out to Sister Angela, who will not be joining us on this show, but she'll be back. She's taking care of that queen business. Yes, my brothers. So, what we want to know is what we getting into today, man. What we rapping about, man? What's the word? What's the business?
Oh man, we're rapping about what's in the tapped in consciousness, right? The collective consciousness. We tapping into it, family. We tapping into it. So today we're going to talk about something very tragic. But you know, we here on the Uplifted Being Show. We like to give a different perspective. We like to give our perspectives from our divine self, our greater beings, and an accumulation of our lower beings as well. You know, wholeness and totality. But we're talking about the first and foremost, we don't want to use her name or her story as any type of clout. But we do think, and I think I can speak for the both of us, and all three of us actually, with Angela and here with us in spirit, that with the death of one of our reflections, or the murder of one of our reflections, we don't want to use that for clout. You know what I'm saying? We're not clout chasing, but we do think that we can give a divine perspective of her transition into the ancestral plane. But her name is Tatiana Jefferson. She was murdered by a man whom I will not give energy to his name. But she was murdered by this police officer. And I think today we definitely should dive into that and the perspective from our divine being. So, King, just in general, man, how you feel about our melanin sisters being murdered, whether it be by the hands of the police or... No, let's stick to that. Let's stick to by the hands of the police, because they are an authority figure.
I mean, my feelings on it, it's just total discomfort. It's total dis-ease. It doesn't sit well with me. And when it comes to these type of things, because sometimes I feel like I'm so out there and spaced out, I really don't like to give my attention to these things, but these are real issues and real people. And these are families that are being affected. and it affects the whole of us, so I totally, I could say I'm disgusted. I just, knowing the power that we all have as co-creators, I look to think about what could we do proactively to better the condition, because these conditions, it's like they're self-perpetuating, especially the more attention we place on it. I remember when there was a time, maybe 4 years back, when all those brothers were getting murdered by the police.
Yeah.
And, they were actually showing it on the news. They were showing it on Facebook feeds. And, they never show other people of other ethnicities being murdered. This is something
Right.
you don't see, especially not on the news, not in graphic detail.
Right.
And I made a conscious decision because not to watch it. In those times I was, using Facebook, and I would scroll, and I knew what was about to come up. I had to keep scrolling or close my eyes anytime, I was listening to a lecture let's just say 10 years ago, of a sister named Dr. Yafa Bey. And she was dropping some heavy game, and she was saying, she received from the ancestors that we shouldn't be watching any movie where black people die. We shouldn't be subjecting our consciousness or subconscious mind to even viewing that type of stuff. And since then, I've made as big of effort as I can to, anytime, even I'm watching any random movie and a black person's about to die, just close my eyes.
Word.
Because I ain't trying to see it. I'm not trying to perpetuate it with my own creative power. But the shit is crazy, brother. How you feeling about this shit?
Oh, bro. I'm 1,000% with you, Reflection. I'm disgusted. I'm displeased, angry. And it's a weird thing. It's a very powerful thing of what you said, man. It's very uplifted. To close off the one thing that gives it power, and it's attention. So you close off your attention to it. And it's one less source of power that they have. Right? And the more people that close off their attention to it, the less of a reality that it will be, because now we put our attention on, like you said, being proactive instead of reactive. Because now that attentive power, that attentive energy, that attentive focus it goes somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Because how many people spend so much of their time watching something they don't like just to complain about it? Right? They go all up in the comments and complaining. Then they're in the comments arguing with people, and such and such. And we spend hours, if not hours, if you spend in 5 minutes, you spend in 10 minutes, that 5-10 minutes could be done, could be directed towards something constructively, or better use of your time and your energy. I think, we know that this is by design, right? We know all of this is happening, one, from our own creativity, from our own focus, and two, by the hands of people who are just carrying out our collective consciousness, right? We live in a very violent society. We live in a very discriminatory and prejudice and segregated society. We live in a very fear-based society. And we live in a society, more importantly, that don't know the power of attention. And they don't know the power of creatively, directing your attention towards things that we want. We direct it towards the movies that perpetuate, our enslavement or our incarceration or our murder. We direct it towards the music that perpetuate the same. And so much other things, then we're mad when it actually happens in quote unquote real life. But I just want to take a second to see what type of positiveness can you see that comes from the slaying of our brothers and sisters? And what can you take from it that can change the dynamic from it being such a negative and hurtful situation to seeing something positive in it? Because we know that, you know, it's real lives at stake. You know what I'm saying? It's like real families that are mourning. You know what I mean? Like somebody's without a friend, somebody without a sister, without a brother, without a mother, without an aunt, without a, you know, an uncle, and it's so hurtful and deep. So what can we do to, you know, kind of see the good in this horrible situation?
Right. I mean, that's a tough question. And with me, it all comes to perspective. And I could only speak from my personal vantage point, like from my perspective. And it's like I would choose to, because it's such a difficult situation, I would choose to look at it like, you know, for one, you know, they're closer to God. They're with the ancestors. You know, if they want to affect change here, they're maybe in a better position to, you know, maybe two, you know, this tragic event could help increase awareness amongst, you know, the herd, you know, and I guess that's just what I got to call the masses, you know,
Right.
it could help spark awareness amongst the herd and, you know, lead to more people being awake who will be able to, you know, take proactive measures to change the conditions, you know what I mean? To, you know, to help create this new reality, this new paradigm, to shift the paradigm. And, you know, I mean, and then three, it's like when you are awake, you know, and there's levels to everything, but just, you know, when you are awake to the degree of, you know, of knowing that death is not real. So what's the point? What's the point of tripping? When I leave this third dimension, you don't need to cry. You know, whoever loves me, I mean, you could cry all you want, but fuck, the shit ain't gonna make me come back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's really and truly all good. Death is an illusion. You know what I mean? So you just listen, like we're spirit, okay? This body was born, this body will die.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you are your body, and doesn't mean that when your body perishes, you perish along with it.
Right.
Right? So the body perishes, you live on. You have always lived, you will always live. So, I mean, you know, I remember Brother Bobby Hemmett saying one time in a lecture that in antiquity, you know, they used to cry when babies were born and rejoice when people passed, when they transcended. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because in the transcendence, it's like, yeah, they're going back to God. They're going back to, you know, bliss, to a higher dimension, a higher vibration, a higher state of being.
Right.
And when babies are born, they're like, oh, damn, yo, you coming here?
Damn, bro, you gotta come here. You chose to come here, bro, out of all places. Word, though. Word. Nah, I feel that. And I don't want any of our listeners to think that we're making light of any of the murders or anything. We just speaking facts. You know what I mean? Whether you choose to believe it or not, the truth don't care if you believe it, or the truth don't care about how you feel. You know? Like we already went over in previous shows how if you speaking without using your physical voice, without your body's voice, and you speak, what voice is that? That's another set of senses, right? We already went over that in plenty of the episodes. You have another set of senses outside of your physical senses. So that is the true you, and that is void of the body. So when the body dies, you still live on, like King put it. So just to get our new listeners or anybody out there that, just wanted to clarify that.
Because that's the fear, man. That's how they get
Word is
us,
born.
to keep us in a perpetual state of fear. And if we all feel like when we die it's over, that's coming out of a place of fear.
Right.
They could use that fear to, maintain their agendas and to keep us under control.
Right.
When we could shed the layers of fear, we're in a better position, a better space.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Um, and fear is one of those tricky things because, it's it's self-governed. You know what I'm saying? It's like smoking, right? Yeah, the cigarettes are behind the counter, but you don't have to smoke them. So yeah, the agenda is there for you to fear, right? It's all over the news. You look at the news, and the whole out of 60 minutes, 59 of them is about all the dangers of the world. So you might think that you walk outside and all of that shit can happen to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's 24 freaking 7. You read the newspaper, you watching TV. It's violence and fear all around you. Like, so many children are scared of the dark.
Yeah, grown adults are scared of the dark.
Grown adults are scared of the dark. You know how my dad got me to stop being scared of the dark? He said, close your eyes. So what do you see? I said, darkness. Are you scared? No. Okay then.
Facts.
So